camera and sit in the canoe. And it's not going to do anything, so don't worry about it. It's weird. Did I take the wrong canoe, maybe? Oh, maybe my other ones were at night, weren't they? They were. Oh, no, I get some water in there. And you can make a glitch there and get some water. Oh, that's not what I want, though. I think it's got to be nighttime. Oh, well, I got a short on it, guys. Just go sit in the back of the canoe, look up, and a door, a portal, will appear above John. I'm going to keep checking because now I am obsessed with it. How dare you not work when I try to demonstrate for the people, man? Okay, oh, see, that's crazy right there. Yeah, I guess it's gotta be night. Just realizing the only time I've seen it, it's been darker out, I think. Anybody's actually watching this stream now, I know how nuts I look. But hopefully you watched it yesterday when I filmed it the original first time and you saw what I'm talking about. Yes. God damn it. Man, that is so weird. Maybe it's specific canoes or specific times of the day or something. But yeah, just go look at the short. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. If anybody here is actually wondering what I'm talking about. Okay, so our canoe. First of all, you get all these like ports. I know that sounds weird because they're just rocks, but you know, these are like places to park your canoe. So it kind of indicates to me I got to stop. This rock here. See this rock here? You see these rocks? There's another one right behind me, I think, too. Right, it's another trail. Is there another one right here? Yeah, okay, there it is. See, it's between those two guys right there. So that rock, the rock I'm on, is pretty much the same rock as that one there. You see, the reason I noticed is because it's got this like little cave thing on it. Not a cave, but like a little indent or a dimple. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he go? There he is. And then that guy's got the same one. And it's not just placement. What they are is they're actually, for the longest time, I thought they were caves. And I was following a trail of cave rocks. But then you're basically you're birthed because you keep coming out through all these holes. And then that's when you first start noticing those rocks. And what they represent are vaginas. And you're being birthed out of them when you see them. So I think I'm either being born right and reborn in teaching because I'm teaching you guys all this stuff, or the people watching it that actually understand and can follow it. That's representation of you being born right now. Because if you can follow me on this turkey ride here, guys, this is the big one. Um, but I had to refilm it because when I was editing, it wasn't even that bad. The sound was okay, but I couldn't leave this out when I noticed it. So just this part's the turkey. The whole thing is like a cooked turkey. when you put them together, and that's what I saw originally. But this part right here that John's standing on, just this part, this would be the turkey's head. John's standing on his body. Okay? And then this would be like the wing or the back of it. You get a good look, and then I'm gonna actually pull out my cigarette card. And it won't be perfect, but it'll give you a better idea. So just that part right there. Right? Think of like a hand turkey, right? Like a kid would make with their hand for Thanksgiving. That's essentially what that is. Right? Be like his middle finger right there. It's his thumb making the head. Okay, but then when you put that shape on top of the other shape, you got the one that I originally saw, which is a cooked turkey. And this part is just kind of the wing or the leg. But yeah, that's another example of a turkey. So it's a double bird in a way, right? Because if you have the live turkey here, and then if you put it all together, you get a cooked turkey. Right? In a way, you got two birds again. So let's see if I can remember how to get to my cigarette card from here. Oh, not stars of the stage. I don't even know if you can see them here, can you? There they are. Oh, I can't go next here? Jesus Christ. All right, let's go into the thing. Actually, I got to take a slight pause, guys. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. One moment here. Okay, sorry, but I had to rewind and listen to the very last part of the stream because that's how bad my memory is, and I didn't remember what I was doing here. So we need our cigarette card. And I can never remember where to find all this stuff. Is in player? Nope. Let's just get it out the old-fashioned way. How? I want to say it's like 2 or 3. Maybe it's 1. That would make so much sense. No, of course it's not. There we go. Now I can go next. What? Oh, there he is. Okay. So, turkey. All right. No cigarette cards or clues because of the spider. Somebody lined that up. I've never done it. I just trusted that they're telling the truth, and they lined it up, and that's how we got to the center of the spider. So it makes sense that if we got stuck again, because the center of the spider thing would have been pretty complicated. I don't know how anybody would have figured that out. So we're stuck. We go to our cigarette cards, and I find a turkey. And I realize I'm standing on a turkey. So let's look at that again. Top part here that John's on. Just this part here. It's like a hand turkey that a kid would make for Thanksgiving. And when you zoom out and add it to the other part here, what I got, and I understand why most people don't, There's a cooked turkey. So there's actually two turkeys with here in a weird way. All right, so again, two birds. And it's made of rocks. We were brought here from Window Rock and a cowboy made of rocks. And now we're a cowboy and we're standing on a bird made of rocks. Brought to us by two birds on a rock. I get why people think I'm nuts, man, but this is the game. This is what you do. You connect the clues and you advance forward. So it's a hell of a lot of fun. Not settings, man. We're going back to map. Okay, so yeah, actually, let's go back up here. Cut that out. All right, so we're on our turkey. We get to our highest point because that's what we've learned from everything here. Go to where you're supposed to be, get to your highest point, and it should point you in a new direction. So does this guy point me in a new direction? I don't know. I never really bothered to look here. I don't think you're pointing that way, though. You're not. You're pointing that way. There you go. That's real specific, guys. I don't expect people to understand that. You might get that later, but this guy's pointing. Where is he pointing, though? Well, I didn't even know this at the time. Like I said, I connected him to the rivers and this guy down here. But when I came back, I noticed he's pointing. And I said, you know what? He's pointing here. You could probably take that. Somebody else could take that. They could find another path, lead them to God, lead them to GTA. But let's just, out of curiosity here, let's check where he's pointing. Huh. Look at that. He's pointing to Siska Penitentiary. What does Siska mean? Anybody? Anybody? Yes? No? Okay. Siska means bird. It means bird, guys. So we're standing on a bird, brought here by birds. Brought here by birds on a rock. We're now standing on a bird made of rock. And it's pointing us to another bird, which is a penitentiary on an island. And if you know anything about penitentiaries on islands in Alcatraz, it's called The Rock. Right? There's a movie, The Rock, Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage. Right? The Rock. So again, more wordplay, movie associations. That's going to be big later. I'm just making that one now, to be honest here, because to me it was just the bird play. But I'm realizing too, it's an island and it's a prison, and that is known as the Rock. So again, rock, bird, and it's pointing us right to it. So maybe go there and get a clue if you don't believe what I'm doing after this. Maybe somebody else, if you believe me up to this point, go there. Find a path maybe, because that, as you see, I just connected shit again. Window, rock, birds, standing on two birds made of rock. It's pointing me to a bird. This guy, known as a rock. Right? Like it's all connected again, guys. By the way, this guy points you up here, and eventually we're going to end up here, and you'll see that this guy is also shaped like Siska Island and the rocks I'm standing on. That's the other thing too, guys. Sorry I didn't mention that. This is the shape that I'm currently standing on in the middle of the two rivers. So not only is this pointing to Siska Island, if you were to take this part of the island right here and just move it over a little bit, you have this thing I'm standing on, man. Okay. And how do you want to know how else I know I'm right? There's a mission in the game. It's called Geology for Beginners. Okay, there's no geology for professionals. There's no advanced geology. There's geology for beginners. You got to figure the rest out yourselves. this rock formation matching that formation, which matches another formation in the north. Yeah, okay. Has nothing to do. That's just a coincidence. That dark rock there that I say is the vagina rock that matches this other vagina rock. We now find ourselves between the two signs that are vagina rocks, and we find another sign. Right, we're between them again, in case nobody noticed. Right, maybe one's an asshole and one's a vagina, and now we're the taint. Right, and they're different too. Like you see, I don't know, guys, go on a hike. These rocks here, these dark ones, are from the east side of the map. These light ones are from the west side of the map, the northern part, right? Not New Austin. But here they converge. We're in the middle of them. Again, in the middle. Middles, centers. Turkey, made of rocks, brought to us here by a cowboy, made of rocks. It points to a prison, aka The Rock, on an island. What else did I miss here? Because there's more connections here, guys, that connects everything. So luckily I wrote some stuff down. One moment. Okay, just in case it wasn't clear, my whole thing here, the only reason I even made a video is because I noticed that the river was the two birds. All right, so we are now between the two birds. That is the river, which was connected by our guitar, much like our telephone poles were connected with a cable, the ones that brought us here. This is now connected with a river, flowing current, right? That's what the telephone poles are and the wires. They're a flowing current. So is this river, if that helps you guys. So flowing currents connect us. We took our leap. That's what I'm saying. We got to connect a bunch of things, take a leap. So we took our leap, and now we've directly connected our guitar to the river, to the flowing current, to the rock, cowboy rock. Brings us to the middle here, and we're going to head downriver. Where do we go? This is where I was stuck. So I didn't know any of the stuff I just told you guys. That's all stuff I've realized after coming back and backtracking here. Just read again, not confirming because I don't need confirmation at this point, but it just more signs that I can now see and understand pointing me to the same places. So we're in the middle. I'm realizing our clues are connecting, right? We got our wires connections, our tallies were connected, then our wires, etc. And then I got the guitar to the river, to the two birds, so I knew that was connection. So I figured we're still connecting things. I thought at this point too we'd be just connecting things forever. I didn't see the leaps. I thought everything was kind of connected. But it wasn't. We were taking leaps and then connecting things. So at this point, I thought I needed to connect whatever I have here to something down here. And I did. So I'm standing on a turkey. What I thought I found down here was another turkey. And it might still be. I don't see it anymore. What I do see now, though, is a goose, specifically a cooked goose. Because that's the saying, your goose is cooked. Right? If you're doing this, if you're doing what I was doing and taking this leap and trying to connect all this shit, my goose was cooked. Right? They gave me the double bird, so they flipped me the finger, threw me through a window, right? Sent me on a wild goose slash wild turkey chase, which is now going to lead me down here to this part of the river, this sharp bend here called a goose neck, which coincidentally is right next to something that is shaped kind of like a goose. And at least to me, it is a cloud. Other people understand it though, so it's a cloud, but there can only be so many options. So make up a shape in your mind of what this cloud is. And if it's not a goose, good for you. But I think a lot of people get goose or turkey. Maybe a turtle too. I could see a turtle, which might connect us later to some things. All right, but yeah, Goose Man. Goose Man. Sounds like a cool new supervillain. But our turkey here looked vaguely like this to me. So I knew I needed to go to the center, or I didn't know, but I suspected that I might find my next clue right here. Because to me, that was the center of this goose thing. And in my mind, I needed to connect him to the river somehow. Again, not seeing any of the stuff I just told you guys about the penitentiary, how that one points to this one, which also matches the shape of this one, and then this one kind of points over back over us to here. So there's a triangle right there of birds pointing to each other made of rocks. I didn't know any of that stuff. I just had some shapes. So I matched up my shapes and I headed downriver. And that's where I found my next sign. And just one more thing to hammer the point home, guys. I'm on a wild goose chase. I find it down here. So I find myself on a wild turkey. It sends me on a wild goose chase. My goose is now cooked. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that. Um, really good news for me, though. I don't. On a personal note, I just got a great job. And my life's, whether I finish this stupid game or not, my life's going to change drastically within the next 3 or 4 months. So, had nothing to do with this, completely separate. It pays to be good at things, guys. And I'm just saying this for the Reddit community because screw those guys, man. I've tried so hard to catch them up and get them up to speed, and all they do is just downvote and insult me. And there's a couple of trolls over there that are actually following me around on social media and capturing everything I say in some sort of attempt to, I don't know, cancel a guy that is not famous or on the internet in any way except to try and beat a fucking video game. So, uh, yeah, fuck you, you stupid losers over there. Um, Not the people that are cool. If you're cool, you know I'm not talking to you. You know who I'm talking to when I say this shit. There are just some disgusting, pathetic people over there that are obsessed with me, and they're probably here right now, probably listening and watching. And if not now, they will be later because that's what they do. And then they quote everything I say, and then put it in some sort of file so they can either dox me or maybe murder me is what I'm really worried about because I've never had anybody this obsessed with me except for a couple of ex-girlfriends that literally tried to kill me. So it's just reminding me of that shit. Um yeah, anyway, fuck you, Reddit guys. I just got an awesome job. My life was already better than yours, but it's now going to be magnitudes better than yours. And I'm still making these videos to teach you how to play the stupid game, you dumb little shitheads. And everybody else, man, you're cool. Like you know who I'm talking to right now. So, yeah, guys. I don't know how many more of these videos I'm even gonna make now, to be honest. So, I'll try and pump as many as I can out in the next couple of weeks because I'm gonna give my notice maybe tomorrow and then maybe not show up after that and then start a new job in a few weeks. So look at that jump, eh? Ooh, you guys like that shit? Where was I though, man? We're talking about this freaking turkey. Is that enough? Have I explained the turkey enough? Was anybody in the chat listening to all that? And did I cover it? Like, I don't. Let me check my notes, see if there's anything else. Connects to the next one. You got your wordplay. You connect to the last one. You get high. It's on the river. You're between two birds. There's a gooseneck. Connects you to the wild goose. The goose chase. The wordplay. The turkey. Siska. New Austin. Yeah, I did mention New Austin was a goose as well. I don't know if I got there. So later on, that's another reason I know I'm standing on a goose right now is because something similar is going to happen to me later. And I know I got to go on a wild goose chase again. And then I realize it's New Austin, which is also the same shape as this kind of goose thing I'm saying here. So when I'm saying the goose, I'm saying this road pretty much. Right? And then kind of up along here. And then you can see that is basically New Austin as well. Right? Same thing. Right? So where New Austin cuts off, I mean, for Arthur, right? So Arthur can't cross the border here. That's where John kind of takes over. So from there down, that's the goose's head. This is his body. And then that's the same shape we get up here. This is the goose's body. This is the goose's head. Sorry, I can't move the cursor right, but I'll just place it right there. That's about where the goose's head is. And then it's just the rest of this would be his body. Yeah. And that's again the same as New Austin here. So another way I confirmed it. That's what I mean when you gotta say you move ahead and it confirms your last steps. So I'm on this huge leap of faith, running around in circles, doing all this shit, and then eventually one day I connected this wild goose chase to New Austin, and then that not only did that tell me that New Austin was the right place to go, it also reconfirmed that this was the right place to go. Right? And that's part of like land surveillance and overlapping everything. Two Crows is in New Austin. Yeah, good point, man. There's you got two birds everywhere though, right? So I think we do go to Two Crows on this leg. Maybe not. I'm trying to remember now. I gotta go in order, guys. I can't remember. From here, we're gonna go down to our fish. I'm gonna cut this part out, but for the people in the stream, from our turkey, we go to our fish. Fish leads us here, right? Because there's a big fish on the map. We find a fish. There's a big fish on the map, and that fish kind of curves and points us down here to this other fish with an eye. So again, we'll back up. This is where it gets confusing to just explain this stuff to people. So we take our wild goose chase and we end up around here somewhere, and we're in the eye of a fish now, this giant fish on a map. And we find a fish here on the rocks, connecting us to our rock clues. We find a fish on the rocks that has a giant eye while we are in the eye of a fish. So let me say that one more time because I don't know how clear I'm saying that. So when we get here, we're going to find a fish on the rocks and it has a giant eye. Then we're going to go to our map. We're going to zoom out and we're going to realize that we are in the eye of a fish on the map. And that fish is going to lead us down here if we follow it, right? Because it's like a sea or a trail, it's looping around. Again, comes to a point here, points us here to this fish. And then since we're at this fish, this is another fish that kind of looks like our cigarette cards, the one with the big jaw and kind of droopy looking. Same with this one here. If that wasn't clear, this guy is also a cigarette card. Leads you to this cigarette card. And since we were in the eye of a fish, and we found a fish with a big eye. We're going to go to this fish, and we're going to stand in his eye. When we stand in his eye, he points us to our next sign, which is right here. But even if you don't realize any of that, maybe you just take the bridges and you're connecting your bridges, and you got a land bridge here. This is what I did originally. I didn't see the eye. I saw this land bridge connected me to this bridge. And then when I went to it and I stood between them. So I'm standing on the land bridge, and then I got the man-made bridge above me. I'm now again between two bridges. Okay. So that's how I was connecting stuff back then, because I had two bridges here. Okay. Land bridge, man-made bridge. I'm in between them. We go all the way back here. We have to cross a bridge at the poles. Right? You cross the west telephone pole. You cross a bridge to get to the northwest guitar, right? And that's a man-made bridge. And when you get to Fort Wallace, to go to Window Rock, you got to cross another bridge, a land bridge. Right? So now we crossed a man-made bridge. We crossed a land-made bridge. And now we find ourselves between one of each. And then later on, I made that association when I got down here because I had one of each again, but now I was between them. And then I found my sign here. Yeah, you guys got that? Is there anybody in the chat there that like has a question I can try and answer, maybe cover? Because I know these videos are going to be confusing for most people, but I don't know how else to make it clearer. Like I can't. So if there's any suggestion there for anybody who's listening, please help me out. Like what can I do better here to clarify all this shit and this overlapping of the clues, man? Hit like and subscribe, by the way, if you haven't. I gotta just throw that in there every once in a while so I can edit it into the actual videos. So anybody here, don't pay attention to that. And I hate asking that, man. Oh, please like and subscribe. But really, I just need some attention on this thing so I can get some help here, right? And then we can beat a video game, and I can concentrate on my new job and not be distracted by this giant Red Dead Easter egg thing. Squids have big eyes. You're right there, Steve. I don't know about squids in the game, though, man. Welcome to the rock. Welcome to the rock. Yeah, right? But yeah, you guys get all that? Like, you see what I'm saying, though? I'm on a turkey, bird, rock, points to the rock. It's turkey. It's called the rock. I think I can finally move on from this because I'm going over my notes. I got everything. My audio sounds good for a change. So we're gonna move on, man. Finally. Finally. I think I can go all the way to here and pick up where I was trying to pick up after strawberry. So I'm gonna stop the stream and we're gonna ride out there. Thanks for coming, everybody. Really appreciate it. I might be back in a bit. Actually, probably not. I got a bunch of shit I gotta do today. So maybe later tonight, though. Thanks for coming. Take care. Love yous. Have a good one.